Welcome back, curious critters. Have you ever wondered what makes something alive? Like why this butterfly flaps its wings, but a rock just sits there? Or what about fossils? They're not alive anymore, but they used to be. So, what really counts as living, non-living, or once living? Great questions for a young scientist to ask, and we're about to explore them all. Ready? Before we do, please hit like and subscribe and leave requests below. Now let's dive into the wild world of life. We'll start with living things. Living things have certain features in common. Let's go through them now. Firstly, all living things can move, whether that be bending towards the sun like this plant, or hopping like this kangaroo. Secondly, all living things need food to give them energy. Nutrition is the process of how living things get their food, and how their bodies use it. Animals get nutrition by eating food like plants or other animals, just like we do. But most plants don't eat. They make their own food using sunlight in a process called photosynthesis. Next, no matter what you are, animal, plant, or something else, once you have food, you need to turn it into energy so you can grow, move, and stay healthy. A process called respiration. And you guessed it, all living things do it. Respiration's tricky, so for now, just remember this. It's how all living things turn food into energy. Now, taking food in, that's nutrition, and turning it into energy, that's respiration, means there's something else living things must do. They need to get rid of waste, just like this horse did here. This process is called excretion. Gross, right? Well, it sounds icky, but it's a requirement of life. Not to worry though, waste is never truly wasted, as other life forms use this as their own energy source. Just like this resourceful dung beetle's doing here. Another thing, all living things are sensitive to things that happen in the environment around them. Sensitivity means a response. Plants, for example, turn towards sunlight, or close their leaves when touched. Insects sense and move away from danger or toward food. Us humans and other animals sense and respond to light, sound, temperature, and emotions too. A worm wriggles when it feels vibrations in the soil. And even the tiniest life form like this single cell can sense and respond to potential food when required. Next on our list, and maybe most importantly, all living things can reproduce. That means they can make more of themselves, just like all these turtle hatchlings. So far, we've learnt a lot. Let's test out our knowledge. See this frog. What do you think? Is it living or non-living? If you said living, you're correct. Frogs move, eat, and can have baby frogs. Yep, definitely living. How about this rock? Living or non-living? If you said non-living, you're correct. Rocks can't eat or move on their own. Rocks are non-living. Here's a tricky one. A fossil? Living or non-living? Or how about once living? Well, fossils aren't living anymore, but they certainly were once. A fossil is the shape or remains of something that lived a long time ago, like a dinosaur. So we say it was once living. I think we're getting the hang of this. Let's do a couple more. How about this tree? That's right, living. Trees make their own food, respond to their environment, and they make seeds just like these gum nuts. And how about this wood? It used to be a tree, but is it still living? The answer is no. It's no longer alive. So we'd say this wood was once living. Last one, a toy robot. It might walk and talk, but only when you tell it to. It doesn't eat or reproduce baby robots. So it's non-living. Now, let's talk about one more thing all living things have in common. Something all living things go through. A life cycle. A life cycle means growth, and growth's our seventh characteristic of living things. Growth and life cycles mean living things change over time. A life cycle is the journey of a living thing from the beginning of its life, through growth and changes, to the point where it can make new life. Let's look at two examples. Firstly, the life cycle of a frog. A frog begins life as a tiny egg, just like the egg you see here. Then, one day, the eggs hatch into tadpoles. See the tadpoles swimming around? Next, the tadpole grows little legs, eventually becoming what we call a froglet. Finally, the froglet drops its tail and is able to move and breathe on land. It's now a fully grown frog. As you've just seen, frogs change a lot as they grow. This transformation is called metamorphosis. Now let's check out a sunflower. Sunflowers also change a lot. They start as seeds like the ones you see here. Then, in the right conditions, the seeds crack open and begin to grow roots. Next, a stem grows and leaves too. And our sunflower grows from a seedling into a proper plant. Finally, the sunflower plant grows its bright yellow flower, which will make more seeds. And the cycle starts again. You've just witnessed a plant's life cycle. So even though one swims in water and hops about, and the other stays put and grows in the ground, both the frog and the sunflower are living things. So next time you see something that might be alive, ask yourself these questions. If the answers are yes, it's alive. Pretty amazing, right? Thanks for watching Future Scientists, and amazing educators too. Remember to like and subscribe for more science content coming soon. This video aligns with the Australian Curriculum Year 3 science content description, AC9S3U01,